Hello everyone, thank you for coming. I'm Bella Dinh-Zarr, Vice Chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. I'm here today with our IIC, our investigator in charge, Mr. Jim Southworth. I want to first, again, extend our condolences on behalf of the NTSB to the family and friends of the victims of this accident, and we hope for a speedy recovery for everyone who was injured in this accident. We continue in the fact-gathering phase of the investigation, and here's what our groups have discovered in the last 48 hours. Investigators from each of our groups have collected voluminous records, including documents associated with operational tests, mechanical, track, signal, and event recorder tests. Yesterday, our recorders experts worked with the experts from the manufacturers to access data from the recovered locomotive event recorder, which was built in 1995. Unfortunately, the event recorder was not functioning during this trip. Our track investigators recorded geometry measurements to calculate the degree of the curve leading up to the accident area. The curve could have supported speeds up to 43 miles per hour. The operating rule for the area is 30 miles per hour for this curve. Our signals group has found no signal anomalies for the signal system leading to the terminal. They duplicated the accident route with signal alignment. Our survival factors group got on scene briefly yesterday to begin limited photo documentation of the train cars to ensure that we have photos of the scene prior to demolition. Due to safety concerns, the investigator in charge allowed limited access inside the rear 3 passenger cars, and we began to document the interior of those cars. The NTSB investigators were also able to use a drone to capture 109 aerial images of the accident scene, especially documenting the collapsed roof of the station. And this is the first time that we've used the NTSB drone to document a rail accident. Also on Saturday, our investigators used a laser scanner to create 3D images of the cab car and a portion of the second rail car. From these images, we'll be able to conduct further analysis of the damage that was done once we return to Washington. Our NTSB Transportation Disaster Assistance staff has visited 3 hospitals, have visited the passengers there, and to gather passenger information. Our recorders team has also been hard at work, sorting and reviewing security videos. They also reviewed videos from other trains that were in the area before the accident occurred, but unfortunately obtained no pertinent information. We have conducted interviews with both the conductor and the engineer. The engineer was originally hired by New Jersey Transit as a part-time ticket collector in 1987. He became a full-time employee in 1991. He became a qualified engineer in the year 2000. Just a minute. Just wait for that plane to pass. On the day of the accident, he went on duty at 6:46 a.m. He said he felt fully rested upon arrival at work. He stated that his cell phone was stored in and turned off in his personal backpack, which is still located in the cab of the control car. Prior to departure, he said he was successfully able to conduct the required brake tests. In the interview, he stated that the train operated normally throughout the trip, approaching the accident site. And he said that the cab alerter was operating properly. The engineer also stated that there was clear visibility approaching the station. He arrived on the number 5 track, which is the normal arrival track for the 1614 train at Hoboken station. As he approached the end of the station platform, he said that he blew the horn, he checked his speedometer, and started ringing the bell. He said he looked at his watch and noticed his train was about 6 minutes late arriving at Hoboken. He said that when he checked the speedometer, he was operating at 10 miles per hour when entering the station track. The engineer says he has no memory of the accident. He remembers waking up on the floor of the cab. The conductor said he went on duty at 6:30 a.m. at Spring Valley, New Jersey. The preparation for departure was normal. He had worked with the accident engineer on several occasions before. He spoke with the engineer but did not notice anything unusual about his behavior. And then the crew also held a job briefing, which is normal for this. On the day of the accident, the train consist had 4 cars when it normally would have 5 cars. As a result of this shorter consist, the cars were very crowded, with people standing in the vestibules and crowding the cars. It was so crowded that the conductor was unable to collect the fares. The conductor did not notice anything unusual about the speed of the train as it approached the station, but he was focused on the crowds of passengers. After the accident, the conductor helped evacuate the train, and he walked through to ensure that all the passengers were safely off the train. Environmental testing revealed that this area, the accident area, was safe for workers to begin debris removal, which began around 1 p.m. yesterday. And the demolition of the wreckage around the train also started. Demolition will continue 24 hours a day until completion. Contractors must methodically move all of the broken and damaged canopy to minimize the damage to the accident scene and preserve the evidence for our investigation. The canopy, which was constructed in the early 1900s, is supported by enormous steel I-beams. It consists of concrete slabs and glass skylights. The south side of the superstructure is intact, but it's severely sloped, and pieces of the canopy have actually pierced the top of the car. On the north side, the beams look like a dangerous version of pickup sticks. We've all played that game of pickup sticks, and if you incorrectly pull out one stick, it affects the integrity of the other pieces. And of course, in this case, the consequences would be very serious. Further complicating matters, it is a slow and methodical process because unfortunately the train has come to rest at a point where 3 structures have come together: the train shed, the canopy system, and the historical building. We'll continue to support the contractor crew as the structures move from the cars, and we'll be working to preserve as much evidence as possible for our investigation. We still have no firm date on when the controlling car can be accessed so that we can access the other event data recorder. We wish to thank all the parties to our investigation for their ongoing cooperation, and our team continues to work to gather the facts. I do want to emphasize that it's still early in our investigation phase. Our objective, as always, is not just to find out what happened, but why it happened so that we can prevent it from happening again. And let me reiterate, this is the fact-gathering phase of our investigation. We will not be determining the probable cause on scene, and we will not be speculating what may have caused this accident. And we'll be holding additional briefings as we have further progress during this investigation. Information on the demolition status and tomorrow's commute will be released later today by the New Jersey officials. So once again, we're requesting that passengers on the train or those on the platform who have information that might be helpful to our investigation to contact us at witness@ntsb.gov. And for the latest on media briefings, you can follow us on Twitter at NTSB_newsroom or on our website, ntsb.gov. So now I'd be happy to take some questions. Please raise your hand, thank you, and I will call on you, and please identify yourself and state your question. Yes.
WABC-TV, Nina Pineda. Can you shed any light on this Federal Railway Administration investigation audit that took place this summer that unearthed some safety violations involving regional transit?
The question is about the FRA audit that that they have conducted and are in the process of conducting. We collect all information, all documentation. So this audit will definitely be part of our process. But just to remind you, our investigation is completely independent of any other investigation. The FRA, under its statute, normally conducts and has the ability to conduct these audits, and they have done so, and will certainly use this information, but it is a completely separate activity from what we're doing today. So our investigation is independent. We'll use it as part of our documentation. Yes. The question is, based on the extensive damage or the damage that we've seen so far, is it possible that the train was going 10 miles per hour? We want to get in and get the exact speed of the train. We're unable to do that. Unfortunately, one of the event data recorders was not functioning. We hope we'll be able to get that. It's unclear right now whether what the speed was, so we won't know until we actually get that information. Yes.
Chris Franklin, CBS News. Thank you for your time today. The fact that one of these data recorders wasn't reporting, how concerning is that, and are you worried about the functioning of the other one?
The question is about the data recorder. One was not working, and are we concerned about the other one? The locomotive was built in the mid 1990s. The cars, the cab cars, were built in the early 2000s. So it's likely, we're going to wait until we actually get it in our hands. It's likely that it's a newer event data recorder in the lead passenger car, the controlling car. So we're hopeful that that will have information that will be functioning. The one that was not working was built in 1995. That's quite an old event data recorder.
Should it have been in working order then?
The question is, should it have been in working order? The event data recorders, when they are not working, they're usually replaced. It's a bit difficult to actually to repair them. So usually they're replaced. This one, we'll just hope that the front event data is working. Yes.
Lisa Evers from Fox 5. You said the conductor told you the last you remember the train was going 10 miles an hour. How far out was he from the station when he recognized that?
The question is about the speed of the train and what the engineer remembered. So the engineer remembered that as he was entering the station, he stated that he was going 10 miles per hour. Yes.
Is NJ Transit required to have the event data recorder in the locomotive? Is it required by federal law to have that operational every time a train is in operation? And revenue service?
The question is it required to have a event data recorder when a train is in operation? And it's a slightly complicated issue. I think maybe I'll let our IIC go into more detail about that, if you don't mind, Mr. Southworth.
There is a federal requirement that the lead engine, lead locomotive, cab car have a working event recorder. Okay? And that's one of the things we'll see when we get in there and we remove it and see if it's operable, find out what kind of data it gives us.
Sorry, so the rear doesn't have to be working?
It's the requirement that the front end have a working event recorder. So, can you hear me better? Okay.
Whether that is a control cab, passenger car, or a locomotive, whatever's in front, it needs to have a working.
That's correct. The question he asked is about the event recorder being needed on the lead end, the head end, and it doesn't matter if it's a cab car or a locomotive. That's correct. It needs to be on the lead end.
Yes.
I understand Beller down on Tuesday. I understand you've obtained video from other surrounding trains, and I believe there was an event recorder from the locomotive following it. Can you tell us anything about what you've seen in terms of the speed of the train and other things that you've been able to observe from those videos?
The question is, what other videos have we observed and have we been able to find any information from them? And we're still early on that. We've collected a lot of different types of video. We will be able to look at the video to help us if for some reason there is not speed recorded, or if we're not able to get speed from other sources. The video, there are ways to use landmarks along the way to figure out where we can get it. And yes, we did get it from other cars, other trains, the controlling cars of other trains that were nearby. So we did use those.
Next question.
Yes.
Zolcano with the Germans. Quick clarification and a question. Is there any evidence that this engineer tried to put the brakes on this, or was there any kind of system penalty braking for this train? Just a clarification on that. I don't know if you touched on it. And then also, would positive train control have stopped this? Should terminals like this be required to have that positive train control?
The question is, was there any indication that the engineer tried to stop tried to put the brakes on the train, and whether PTC or positive train control would have helped in this case? The answer to the first question, I may have Mr. Southworth elaborate a bit more, but the answer to the first question is that we simply cannot tell you yet until we access the controlling car. Right now, I mean, it is very dangerous to get in there. So until we actually have that information, we don't want to give an answer that's not perfectly accurate. So then we'll be able to see whether there was any application of brakes. We hope, if the event data recorder works. As far as PTC goes, PTC, as many of you know, has been a priority for the NTSB. We know that it can prevent a lot of different types of accidents, train-to-train accidents, derailments due to overspeed, work zone incursions. But what we need to remember is PTC cannot prevent every train accident. So we need to be very careful. We're going to look at this as we're careful with every accident and to see if it affected this one. So we just don't have enough information yet.
Was the train overweight?
Thank you.